Hello, and welcome to the Learning English Fast podcast. I'm your host, Eli. Thank you so much for watching me or listening to me today. As usual, the transcript is down in the description, as well as a vocabulary list for any of you who want to practice your English. All right, so today's topic is a very special topic for me. Excuse me. So, this topic is about Japanese wedding ceremony or Japanese weddings. As many of you know, I recently got married this year in June 1st. I can't forget. I have to remember. And my wife and I had our wedding ceremony with a Japanese wedding company, and it was very different from what I expected. So I just want to tell you guys first that my father, he was a pastor, so he was always invited to do weddings for different people. He would do weddings at churches, he would do weddings, in other like office buildings. He would do them all over. And I would follow him, and usually I was the DJ. So I would follow, I would do the right timing for the music and the videos and things like that. So in my life, I've seen so many weddings. So in Japan, I had an idea of what kind of wedding, it would be, but my idea was wrong. Here in Japan, it's kind of difficult to find a good wedding venue, or at least one that's not too expensive. Most people get married with a wedding company, and they help you find the venue. They help you find the place to get married. And my wife and I, we went to so many different places and we interviewed so many, different companies, asked so many questions, and it was very, very boring because of course, they give you free food if you go, so you can test, the menu, but they just keep talking about so many things and I felt so tired, but I was with my wife, so I was very happy. But my wife and I finally decided excuse me, on one wedding venue, and it was very, very expensive. It was cheaper than the other ones, but it was still very expensive. The one thing I was so surprised about the culture difference was the lack of control. So, I mean, usually in America, when you two plan the wedding, you and your husband or you and your wife, you can have all the control. You can be very creative. Like, oh, I want this song at this time. Or, oh, I want this person to do this. You're very free. But at these wedding venues in Japan, you don't have so much freedom. I asked a question like, "Oh, can I play like this CD?" And they said no. Because it can be like copyright or something like that. And I'm like, who else is going to be watching this? No one's going to be, only our families. But there were some like small things like that. And even if you bring your own CD, you have to pay like $100 or $200 to use their CD player. And then you also have to pay money for the worker who will, turn the music on the CD player. So I was like to my wife, I said, "Hey, like you have to pay money for that? It's not that hard. You press a button and you have to pay them like $200. It's crazy." So there were so many small fees in this in this wedding venue, company, for so many things, like the if you don't have socks, they can give you socks, but you have to pay for the socks. If What else? If you want someone else to stand and at the front, you have to pay extra for that. If for a cake, if you want some words on the cake, you have to pay so much extra, and you can't bring your own words, you can't bring your own cake because they're worried about the health of the people, hygiene. I was at sometimes I was getting very frustrated because I'm like, you guys, like it's not that serious. Like it's like you guys are thinking too much. But in the end, it was smooth. And my wife and I, we were strong in some areas. Like we said, no, for this, we will do this. And, they gave up. And they always kept trying to have us buy new things or to add prices to it. Like, oh, these flowers would be good. I'm like, no, 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 we don't need those. And so we had to be very clear and more strong when saying, we want this, we don't want this. And yeah, but other than that, though, the venue was gorgeous. It was really beautiful. Here, I'll throw some pictures on here so you guys can see. But it was amazing. And it was like my wife wanted. She really wanted to have like a long dress, and they got that for her. She really wanted to feel like a princess with a little tiara, like a little with a little crown, and they got her that for her as well. At first, we were thinking, okay, only our families will come. But in the end, more than 40 people came, not just our family, but friends as well. And I'm happy we did that. A wedding should be a time of joy. It should be a time of celebration for everyone, not just our families. And so more people came, and it was very, very good. And the whole time during the wedding ceremony, the workers were always there leading the way, like saying, okay, now at this time. So, like, they had their microphones, like, very, very professional, and they tried to stay out of the way, as the best that they could. They were so professional. It was very incredible, actually. I felt like I was a rich man. Like, wow, I feel like a king. They did such a good job. Another thing my wife and I did for the Japanese wedding is they have red envelopes, you know? So usually in America, when people get married, so sometimes people give money, but most give like gifts, like practical gifts, like some forks, spoons, some tables, chairs for the new house, for the couple. But here, people give money. They give money. And so whoever you invite, they will always bring some money for you. And then my wife and I used that money to help pay for the wedding ceremony because it was expensive. I won't tell you how much, but it was high. It was expensive. And the whole time I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's so expensive. Why? But it's okay. I love my wife. I love her. So it's no problem. But having a lot of people come was so useful and so helpful because the money they gave helped pay for the wedding. And it's a very interesting culture, I think. And I know in America, sometimes money, but not too often, not too often. In Taiwan, they would also China too. They would also give money those who came. And so I think it's a very interesting part of Asian culture. Very wonderful, actually. And what else did we do during the wedding? There was no dancing. All the weddings I've been to in America, there was always dancing. But here, no dancing, no dancing. But we did have a little like game at the beginning where I would share a picture of me in my childhood, and everyone had to guess which baby is Eli. Or there were some other questions like, how did me and my wife first meet? Or how did I propose? Where did I propose? Things like that. So it was a very, very fun wedding. And the theme of the wedding was a theme my wife wanted: Disney. She loves Disney so much. So the theme of the wedding was Disney theme. So there were like Disney cups, that we had like Disney flowers. There were different Mickey Mouse hidden Mickeys in the flowers as well. And I think we did a good job with the Disney theme, and everyone was so amazed. Like, wow, it's so cute. And also at the end, when all the guests left, my wife and I handed out little gift boxes that we made here in my home. And we gave them to all the guests that came. So that was also very interesting. Again, in the US, the couple doesn't give anything to the people. The people give stuff to the couple. But here in Japan, the couple gives things to the guest to show, we're thankful for you coming. Thank you for your support. And we also gave gifts to our parents. And that was another part I was very surprised about. Again, like in America, there's usually no gifts to the parents, right? But we give a gift to the parents as well, saying thank you for your support. Thank you for, your love for us and raising us throughout these years. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about Japanese weddings here in Japan, or my own personal experience. So please tell me, what about you guys? Those of you watching in another country, what type of weddings do you have? What kind of culture? What kind of like people like lead the weddings? I want to know. Please tell me down in the comments below. Also remember, I have a special one-on-one English class for any of you who want to practice English with me, all right? So thank you so much for watching. Keep doing your best with English, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.